Hey everyone, LARP Tony Dano here, Geometry Dash's busiest hip-hop nerd, and I'm presenting you my completion and review of Artificial Ascent by Anubis, Vibrant, and more. Artificial Ascent is a 2.0 former Top 1 Extreme Demon Mega Collab that features arguably the best decoration in any Extreme Demon before 2.1. It is also part of what is known as the Technology Trilogy, which consists of the levels Artificial Ascent, Digital Descent, and Cybernetic Crescent, the latter two being levels I completed this year and last year respectively. In this review, I'll go more in depth and I'll analyze and criticize every single part, mainly for their gameplay. From 0 to 4% is Codex Sport. It's basically just a bunch of free cube timings, and the decoration actually really resembles what a lot of levels look like near the end of 2.0. From 4 to 13% is the beginning of the drop, which is built by Manix. It's overall one of the easiest parts of the level, with the hardest section being this shape after the dual ball. The decoration is it is very Manixy. Then, from 13 to 19% we got Sanix part, which requires learning a pretty frustrating at first click pattern, but once it gets consistent it's actually not that bad. Don't really know what to say about the Deco, but I guess it is pretty good for its time. What pisses me off the most is, every time I think about it, the Sanix part ends prematurely, which means the part right after it has to begin prematurely. From 19 to 25% we got Heinz. This part starts prematurely. Pretty alright part, not much to say about it gameplay wise. The Deco is also pretty Heinzy, and I shit myself. From 25 to 29% is Zobros. He actually went for a really cool gameplay gimmick here, and the grayscale decoration was quite cool. But he got bored midway through making his part, and Anubis had to finish it by himself. Gameplay wise, this part is probably one of, if not my favorite part of the level, alongside one of the later sections that I will eventually talk about. From 29 to 32%, we got Michigan's part. May he rest in peace, but all of his parts in any Mega Collab are absolutely dogshit, and this is a take I've always had. He generally wasn't that good of a creator. Even if he made the Temple levels, which is a very iconic series of hard and medium demons, the only two I ever found cool were Lava Temple and Forest Temple. My point is that, if he wasn't that good at making hard demon gameplay, just imagine what a part of his would be like in a modern day top 500 extreme demon. And it's not even that it blends in with the difficulty of all the other parts that are around it. This part is genuinely the hardest, and it is not even close. I know there was little to no playtesting back then, but how did Combine not realize how absurd these timings were, especially at a time where the highest refresh rate used by top players was only 144 Hz? Even if Combine did realize how absurdly difficult this part was, I still don't think he would have nerfed it, since nerfing top 1s back then was viewed as a great sin. The most prominent case of this happening was when Trusta nerfed Michigan Sport on Yaragarasu, because it was, yet again, the hardest segment of the entire level by far, and then the community proceeded to clown on Trusta. The decoration is also not that impressive considering what all the other parts look like. From 32 to 36% is Anthrax's part. Honestly, it's the same case as Sanix part, where it's very annoying at first, but gets consistent afterwards. Also, I'm not sure if it was Vibrant, Anubis, or Combine that made this change, but this part was supposed to be super mega giga terra 50 times harder by having a bunch of spikes at the end, but they got removed. Like, they had a problem with the difficulty here, but not in Michigan's section. The Deco also looks like a more simple version of core decoration, which honestly fits pretty well. From 36 to 40% there's Zenthic Alpha, whose part isn't that hard besides this UFO that can be a bit annoying. Not a lot to talk about here. Next we got a 40 to 44%, which is Vibrant's part. This green orb and the transition from the wave to the cube can be a bit problematic. This part is also the second to Michigan's part for being the ugliest. From 44 to 48% there's Lugia, whose part feels very painful to die to since it is so close to Nazgub's. Decent looking part, and honestly has some pretty fun gameplay. From 48 to 53% is Waymix's part. Now, you might ask,
well, if Lugia is devastating to die to, well, wouldn't it be even worse for this part?
no, because you never die here. This part is free, and the only thing that ever worried me was a slow bug that I was getting in certain start positions only. From 53 to 58%, we got Nazgub. This part marks the halfway point of Artificial Ascent. Once you get here, you know that shit is about to go down. From this point onwards, this level honestly transitions from an above average Mega Collab to an absolute masterpiece of a level. In Nazgub's part, the pacing gets completely killed, and it's as if you just entered a new level. The song and gameplay slows down, and it feels like the level is giving you some breathing room to prepare for what comes next. Also, I died in this part once, and I got so angry that I just turned off my PC. Next comes 58 to 64%, which is Abstract Dark Sport. Being arguably the second hardest part, with the first jump a lot of the time being a run killer, it needs you to be absolutely locked in. Alongside some insane timings comes this section that requires great ship control. The blue decoration also looks very cool in my opinion. 64% to 70% comes Edger's part, which generally has the most odd decoration choices and doesn't feel consistent with all the other parts at all, but it fits the song so well. It honestly makes you feel as if you're flying through heaven. Even though it's a pretty low CPS part, some timings here and there do feel pretty sketchy, and I am really lucky to only have died in this part once or twice. What follows is probably my favorite part of the level, from 70 to 77% being GD speeds. It baffles me that this level is full of the biggest creators in Geometry Dash, and one of the two creators that were a part of this mega collab and I wasn't aware of their existence generally had the most fun part out of all the others. Some clicks near the end at the minicube are a bit ridiculous, but I somehow didn't die there once, and I do think this is on the same level of difficulty as Abstract Dark. The decoration also has this really cool dark purplish style that screams late 2.0 more than any other part. From 77 to 83% is your punches part. It's honestly much easier than it looks besides the first click, and its decoration alongside the two following parts is probably the best in the level. From 83 to 91% is Galvatron's part. It features this really cool outer space type deco, and the gameplay shouldn't be that hard, but it is really easy to make a mistake, especially with nerves. And for the final part, from 91 to 100% comes Terron, with this really fun duel, which isn't that hard. The end of the duel and the transition into the last cube may be a little buggy due to 2.2, but it is really easy to counter the bugs. Don't really know what to say about the deco, but overall, this part does feel like a great ending to a level of this caliber. All in all, I think this level is more first half heavy when it comes to difficulty, especially because it has Michigan's part. I also got really unlucky with the first half, and some sessions I quit after having only one attempt on Nazgub, which greatly affected my enjoyment, as you'll soon see. It's probably my favorite level made in 2.0, and honestly I'm glad it exists since it spawned two other levels I'm really fond of. So, here are some of my ratings. And entirely based on my personal opinion and preference in levels, I'm feeling a light 9 on this map. Yes! Only attempt from that I got to NASCAR today. That's just all I had to do. I'm so glad I'm done with this.